we have our Woman of the Week in studio with us, an engineer by profession. Mrs. Seepersad-Bachan holds a Master of Science degree in Electrical Engineering, and she is also the leader of the Congress of the People. So thank you for joining us here on 107.7 and welcome.
Good morning, and a good morning to all your listeners.
Pleasure having you in studio, and congratulations on your recent win.
Thank you.
You know, when we posted online the picture that you would have been coming, one of our listeners, Gail Garcia Alexis, her first comment was, she is so ladylike in every way. So I'd like to start it off by asking you, what does it mean to you to be a lady?
I think most important is that as a lady, we understand that we have to be compassionate.
Yes.
That we have to, that we are very family oriented, and that we hold a specific responsibility within our communities and our country.
Yes.
So that we can, lead in that particular way, especially when we want to, to go forward in terms of family life.
Yes.
And being that lady, and I want to appeal to all ladies that we have that responsibility, and therefore that we carry ourselves with dignity so that we can carry out our job and we can become those role models for our young women in our nation.
And being a trendsetter, creating history by being the very first woman to hold the portfolio of Minister of Energy and Energy Affairs. What has that accomplishment been like? How were you able to break the glass ceiling, as we would say?
I think it's important to note I was in the energy sector for some time.
Yes.
And when I served as chairman of National Petroleum Marketing Company Limited, it was my first experience of really being involved, and in the faculty of engineering, being involved in a really male-dominated area. What I found with it is that a lot of times you couldn't just go in and demand, because I'm a female, you have to be competent to be in this male-dominated area.
Yes.
But most important, you had to earn the respect. You couldn't command it. You had to earn the respect of those around you. And I found that worked well for me when I was chairman of NPMC, and even when I became Minister of Energy. How you reached out to people, how you consulted with them, how you took on board their views. You showed a bit of respect for everybody. And in addition to that, you earned their respect.
And what other learnings did you gain from it?
Well, most important, I think it's especially for women, if I may say for women, our women have done very well in the field of engineering. And even when I was a lecturer at UWI in the Faculty of Engineering, there were so many of our young girls who outpaced our men. And in fact, I am even more concerned now that we do something for our men in those fields. Yes. But even going into the Ministry of Energy, there were a lot of good women who I found were able to carry the task of leading the energy sector of Trinidad and Tobago forward. Right. And I think I think they have done an excellent job, and I really want to continue to urge them to continue to do the good work, the excellent work that they are doing. So we do have quite a number of good women leaders in the energy sector and in the Ministry of Energy, and I really want to encourage them to go forward. So, again, in terms of advice, I will say to them, take it one step at a time. Be very sure about what you are. Right. Hard work, make sure it pays off. So that your research work, your the technical capability, your competence, make sure that is at paramount, so that when you perform, your performance is important. And once you perform, people will recognize you. You will earn their respect, and you'll be able to move forward. And that's what we really need of all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. But I say to women, and stay away from all the confusion and the bickering and so on. And if you can, in your field, in this particular sphere, if you can be a sort of peacemaker, the person who can mediate, be that conciliator, I would suggest to them that they do so as well, because we play very good roles as women in that particular area of mediating and conciliating. And that's what we really need if we want the sector to move forward in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, before being a politician, you're a dedicated mother and wife. How are you able to balance family life as well as a professional career? And what would you say to other women wishing to do the same, balance a professional career and family life?
I would admit at times it was challenging.
Yes.
And I mean, I would not say that there were not times that I did not neglect my family throughout my professional career. But, at times I would withdraw from my profession to be able to ensure that I pick up the pieces, and make sure that I compensate for those times lost. And I do want to say that to professional women, and this is not only Carolyn saying this.
Right.
This I've seen, globally as well, among professional women. We do have a responsibility to be mothers, not only mothers in our homes, but I don't know if you recall, but women played a very instrumental role in their communities and holding the community family together.
Indeed.
In the church, we played a very important role. It was the women who, were the backbone of the church, because they held, they would bring the communities within the church together in the various social groups or church groups and so on.
Yes.
And I think it's important that we understand that we still have that role to play. And given what is happening right now, the social ills in our society, the crisis we find ourselves in, I think women have to understand that we still have that role to play. And sometimes we may have to make a hard choice. I did one at one time. I did make a choice not to go out to work, but to stay at home.
Yes.
And to take care of my children, because they were going through the stage of, let's say, SEA. And I thought that was a very demanding time for them.
So it was a period you set
That's
aside
right,
for them.
It's psychologically, we have to understand what they are going through. And if we are not there to support them, sometimes this is why we are seeing the psychological ills among our own children. Look at the high rate right now in our schools of depression. And I think, probably as families, as mothers, probably we need to rethink and look at, I know sometimes it's not easy to say I'm going to stay home,
right?
But sometimes we say, what, probably we may just have to, forego the economic gains towards, making sure our family is well taken care of.
Yes.
Our children, because these children one day become adults that have to become parents. They become mothers and fathers as well.
Yes.
And they have to lead as well in our society. So it's so important that we nurture them in the right way so that they could take on that role later on. And we don't leave back misfits in a society for somebody else to take care of.
Understandably so. And let's move away from party, focusing on country. What is your wish for Trinidad and Tobago?
Trinidad and Tobago is a very diverse country.
Yes.
We have a rich mix of cultures, religions, ethnicity, and together with age and gender, that speaks to diversity.
Yes.
I would like to see us start celebrating diversity in our country, because I believe, and it has been proven, that with diversity, we can become a very innovative nation. And if we can have innovation and creativity, that is what we'll be able to emerge out of this crisis that we are in and make us a progressive 21st century country. I truly believe that we could unify as a nation. I truly believe that we could unite. And if we unite and celebrate that diversity, we can emerge out of the crisis that we are in right now as Trinidad and Tobago and become one of the most progressive nations in the 21st century.
Thank you so very much for joining us inside 107.7 Mornings with Michelle. You are our Woman of the Week. We're celebrating all women, one woman at a time. So thank you very much for joining us in studio, Mrs. Carolyn Seepersad-Bachan.
I thank you for having me. It was a pleasure being here this morning. I want to say to all your listeners, God bless. Michelle, God bless for the good work that you're doing.
Thank you.
And I do want to say that as I close, we need to go back to God a bit in our lives.
Yes.
And I urge every citizen, find that religion that you belong to and, take God back into your life. Let your children understand what God is all about. So I say as I close, God bless to all our citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and God bless our nation.
Thank you
Trinidad
so much.
And Tobago.